what class this is? Has anyone informed you what you're in?
Hear me out. I'd be willing to bet that you were scrolling on by, saw the title of this video or the picture and thought, I think I forgot something. Of course, there's public speaking, a course on its own. I took that in middle school, high school, or college, or perhaps all three as I did. Why didn't I think of including this into our homeschool lineup? Or perhaps you had it in the back of your mind and it's not something you got to, or you thought it was just being included in the multiple pieces of your Charlotte Mason education or classical methods or whatever you may be doing, but not something intentionally, just public speaking. So, allow me to introduce you to the brand new course from IEW, Introduction to Public Speaking, Equipping the Next Generation of Public Speakers. This is taught by Andrew Pudawa, and I am excited to also offer a full course bundle to one of you. So this is also a giveaway. So stick around with me, friends, and let's take a look.
And see that I'm the type of girl you're not really that used to.
Welcome back, friends. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Arlene with Arlene & Company. As I said before, I'm going to be walking you through Institute for Excellence in Writing, or also known as IEW, Introduction to Public Speaking, taught by Andrew Pudawa. This is also a giveaway. You're going to find the link to enter for the giveaway in the description box below. So go ahead and click it. Whoever is selected to win will win the complete course, and it will be mailed directly to you at the end of the giveaway when the person is selected. So that is going to be down below. You will also find down in the description box my affiliate link to the course if you want to just go ahead and buy it, or you're seeing this later on, giveaway is over, you want to just go ahead and purchase it. The affiliate link is down below. I appreciate if you use it. You're also going to find the link to my affiliate IEW page, because that page shows you a few of my favorites. Everything's not up there, so keep bookmark that page, because it's being updated in the near future with my new favorites, like more favorites that we have done over the last couple of years. Now, I say last couple of years, you're like, where is that stuff? My channel here is a baby. We know this, but I'm a senior citizen when it comes in Instagram, all right? So IGTV has my older videos, and that is also under a page, guys. So you can take a look at my other videos with structure and style writing, thematic ones, fixing grammar. Institute of Excellence in Writing. This is what comes, I don't know why, but I just have to show you the box because I love the presentation of how their stuff comes. And I felt the same way when I got the structure and style. It's just like really nice. You know that we downsized considerably. So I don't have a schoolroom anymore. It's called we school in a kitchen or wherever. But this is a wall, portable wall, where obviously it's a portable wall. So you can like, woohoo, you know? Oh, now it's a divider. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, you can take this around anywhere. So I like this, especially especially if you don't have walls to put up things and anything like that. So these are reference sheets. So they have 5 canons of rhetoric. We're going to be talking about all these individual components of what intro to public speaking actually is, and what it teaches and how it teaches is. So the structure of is identical in all speeches. The purpose differs. Self-introductory, narrative, expository, persuasive, and impromptu. So we're talking about all those different things within this 12-week course. There's also the plan, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So here is going to give them all kinds of examples and reference to look back on. You're going to have your Forever Extreming activation card. I have this flipped around because it has my activation code on it, but you're going to be able to access this forever and ever. So you can go ahead and stream those videos in the classes. Now the classes, as you saw a clip in the beginning of this video, are taught by Andrew Pudawa in a classroom setting. So your kiddo feels like maybe they're in a Zoom class and they just happen to be the ones that are not inside the classroom, but they're an extension of the classroom. So my kiddos like that aspects of it. This is good and recommended for grades 6 to 12. So middle school and packet, which I already have inside the binder. I'll show you that in a second. And then you have your teacher manual, which is going to be like a replica of this with some extra info for you. Memory techniques, methods of acrostic and acronyms, speaker's triangle, methods, and then keyword outline. So here is where I've gotten a few questions. So those of you that are familiar with IEW and their way that they teach writing, their structure styled one, the keyword outline is a main component and it works amazing. This is like magic sauce, that secret sauce that's in like that, you know, your favorite recipe. That's it. Keyword outline for the win. I cannot say enough good things about it, especially having my oldest that is dyslexic. And I'm not saying this is especially tailored for dyslexic kiddo, but I'm telling you it's magic, okay? It has been magic for us and it's been magic for a lot of kiddos. Obviously everything is not for everyone, but it has worked for us. All right, so practice with KWO and, you know, memorizing how they can go about that. And you say, okay, my kiddo has some struggles, like they can't memorize. We will talk about all of that as well. All right, so let's say that you have no experience with IEW's writing programs whatsoever. Will your child be able to jump into public speaking? Yes, because the keyword outline is something that is introduced to the child as if they've never been taught it before. They acknowledge the fact that some kiddos have been taught it if they have experience with IEW courses or thematic courses, but it is also reintroduced as if you know nothing about it. So yes, you will be fine. Here to talk about delivery techniques, everything here in this cool little portable wall, which I think is awesome. All right. You're going to see a tab when you log into your IEW and it's going to have IPS. Under IPS, so mine has a few tabs, has my affiliate tab, it has my structure and style tab, it has my structure and style teaching one because I also took those. And it has like, you know, with any video led course, it has on that. But here is, you would go into the IPS and then select the week that you are looking for to view that video, and your kiddo would watch that video. And you can watch it with them too. And that has been a really, they love Andrew Puduwai. They think he's hilarious. They think he's funny. He's easy, you know, going. And he is approachable, even though he's through a screen. All right, so you have the teacher's manual. You're gonna have like a replica of what you're gonna see in their student packet. Let's get rid of this glare inducing book right here. And it's going to explain also in the student packet, they're going to do that, but also they're going to be prompted to do this on the video, how to assemble their binder, because you're going to have speech templates, memorization, critiques, and class notes, and they're going to set these binder up in a certain way. Now, this is similar to what you do in structure and style. I will say that we took a little liberty and did it our own way a little bit, so we veered off because neurodiverse house here, we just think a little bit differently, so we have to arrange it a little bit differently, but it works for us. But I will tell you that it just explains step by step of how to arrange it and the why. So and they have the child do this because obviously they're building that independence and autonomy and things like that, and responsibility for their own work. So the child is prompted of setting up their own binder. All right, so the scope and sequence, this is something that I feel is important to go over in these walkthroughs. It is 12 weeks long. I have a lot of feelings about the 12 weeks. Obviously, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Can you start this? It is recommended for grades 6 through 12. Do I recommend it for middle school? Absolutely. I think a middle school child, especially in a young middle school child, it's gonna, unless this is like their strong suit, and this is where they shine, they may go at a slower pace. And I think that's perfectly okay. I think it lends itself to be able to slow it down and for you to take it at your pace. So even though this says and is set up for 12 weeks, I feel like you can ignore the 12 weeks and pace it however you need to. So if your child needs more time, honestly, this is just me. This is not IEW saying this. This video is not sponsored. Yes, they're offering a giveaway. Yes, I was gifted this, but my opinions are always my own. It says 12 weeks. I feel like my kiddos need more than 12 weeks. A high schooler, I fully expect a high schooler to be able to complete this in this time frame, unless there's other learning disabilities or things like that they may need other time or stuff like that. But I wouldn't be afraid to go beyond this and stretch it out for whatever you see fit. And because the complexity and the different layers, I do think it just lends itself that you can pace it however you see fit, right? Without having to feel like you have to rework the curricula, because you really don't. You just take longer to do each stage if you need to. So it is set up for 12 weeks. So if you're looking for a semester course for high school or something like that, you could definitely give your, I would say definitely, but check your laws, obviously. You could do like half a credit for this course if you want to do this for high school credit. That's just my recommendation. Obviously look up if you're in the States, what you would do. Kind of like a summer intensive course, right? There is a lot goes in here. So you're gonna have the class focus and student deliveries. So keyword outline, the memory and delivery techniques. So the first type of thing that they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be memorizing a speech and stuff, right? And before they're actually writing their own basic speech. So speaker evaluation techniques, structures of basic speech, the body of a speech, the introduction and conclusion of a speech, prepare narrative speech, 2 primary speech goals, prepare expository speech, 3 modes of persuasion, prepare persuasive speech, that's a lot of S, okay? Extensive memory techniques, prepare impromptu speech, various speech opportunities. So let's say that your struggles with memory work. And that's something that you have decided that that's just not going to be something they're able to do, or they have expressed that they cannot do. There is several techniques that are taught here, especially with a keyword outline, that will teach them to like look down at their outline, quick glances, look up, speak, and so on. So if your kiddo cannot, like my oldest, memorization, I don't know, maybe one day that will be something she can do, but memorization is not something that her working memory can really adapt to very well. So we adapt, we modify the assignments. And as long as she's not reading from the paper the whole entire time, but glancing, looking up, that is what that's her goal, right? To be able to shorten the amount of times that she looks down on her paper, looks down on her notes, and be able to say her speech, to project her voice, to speak clearly, to those are individual goals that I have and have adopted for my kiddo, where my son is where he shines and he can memorize like no other. So I have 2 vastly different students, one early middle school and one in going into final year of middle school and taking some early high school credits as well. So keeping that in mind, you can adapt what you expect from your child however you see fit. So don't let the memorization scare you, or the expectation that they are going to have to memorize everything scare you. Feel free, you're homeschooling, to adapt to your child's needs, all right? Feel free to adapt your expectations to, yes, to push them beyond their comfort zone, but still within their achievable goals, right? So you have here since we're looking at the teacher guide, we have this extra information. This is what the student has here. This is your information here for you. So you have week 1 video summary. So if you're not watching the video with your student, this gives you a summary of what he taught in the video, so you can feel like you caught up. So if you're teaching multiple kiddos and you have Donnie, Jen, and 7 other children, whatever, you're fine, okay? This will give you a summary. You do not have to watch the video with them. This will tell you what's going on. It has some defined words, so you have those cheat sheets as well. It has some additional tips and where to look for certain information and what forms. And then here is going to have the breakdown. We will look at this closer when I show you the student text. I just wanted to show you very quickly what you would see with your teacher text, right? And I flagged this here just because I don't want to show you too much. But here, for example, is the first class note. This is the source text they're looking at, public speaking. And then here is an example of a keyword outline. So in the keyword outline, you see that it has 10. So the first one is their own title that they give the piece, the source text. and it's like, basically in shorthand or however they want to reword it. So the keyword outlines point is to be able to summarize the text and pull out keywords from each sentence that is going to help them recall the point or the meaning of each sentence, and also be able to, whether they're narrating back to you or they're writing their summary, whatever it may be, to be able to retell it without copying over from the source text. They're only going to be looking at from the keyword outline. So this is what they wouldn't be seeing this. All right. So this is something they learn in their writing programs. So they wouldn't see this. They would only see their keyword outline and go from down one. So you see it says they pull out important words, and usually what they say is you pull out 3 words. Symbols do not count, or abbreviations do not count. So like numbers do not count, so that didn't count. So you pull out no more than 3 words per sentence, and then you retell it with full sentences by using these keywords to help you remember what you're saying or what you're writing. So 10% intensity, afraid, glossophobia, nausea, panic, anxiety, and then these little symbols help them recall what they just read and to be able to retell it, whether it's in written or speech format. All right. I cannot tell you how well this works for my kiddos. It is freaking fantastic. Okay. All right. I know I'm like a major fan of keyword outlines. Anyway, so you see that there, and then you go over into your next class note. This is all part of the first week's lesson. Here is some of the selections for the memorization, and I'll read you this part. In order to deliver a speech effectively, a student must memorize large portions of the speech. Memory is practical, trainable, and improvable. Now, that being said, of course, speaking from a mama that has kiddos with unique needs and abilities, I am going to say, yes, that's true, but some kiddos may or may not be able to do that, and then that's when we adapt and modify. So don't let the curricula rule whatever you do. Listen to your gut, but still try it, because your kiddo may surprise you. Like my youngest is like, okay, you memorize this thing. And my daughter memorizes way more than I thought she would be capable of. So try it and adapt as needed, right? This past week, a student began to process memorizing one of these poems. Students must memorize each line with precision. Require them to begin by looking up at the meaning and pronunciation of unfamiliar words. So they really go into a lot of depth. Not only, okay, you're memorizing words and that's it. Like they're understanding what they're saying. They're giving meaning to their words. They're exploring exactly what their topic is. And they're really going into all the different parts of the rhetoric. You have these speech templates, and I'm going to show you that all in the student text so you can see that, but you can see an example of how you would be critiquing them, how you would be scoring them, and maybe you could even do it as a family too if you have like older learners and stuff like that, and they can submit what their critique are. That may be something fun. I'm going to skip over into the accessing the downloads portion, but here is going to have that same breakdown. You have the introduction, the scope and sequence, and this is all the student text, and these are the binder that comes with it. You have a tab for speech template, a tab for memorization, a tab for critiques, and a tab for class notes, which is what you will also see in the video. So you see this is the same thing. It also explains the supplies that you may be needing. All right, so here I wanted to show you an example of what the week 1 would look like. So introduction to public speaking. You will look at the goals to learn the 5 canons of rhetoric, to learn how to speak from notes, to memorize a poem and learn how to deliver it, to learn how to memorize with memory techniques, and to learn new vocabulary. So vocabulary is going to be incorporated into it. It is also going to give you the total time that the video is. Some are longer, some are shorter, but they're around an hour. So if you want to break it up into a couple of days, you can. This is where you take the liberty of stretching this out if you want to. But there are not only passively watching, but they are participating and doing practices along with the video. So when you do that 1 hour, if you choose to do it in one sitting, no, it's not just passive watching, right? So then you have a suggested daily practice, keyword suggested, so feel free to move this around. Let's say you don't have room to do this 4 days a week, or you don't want to, and you want to adjust it to 2 days a week. Obviously your 12-week time frame is going to be pushed out, but maybe you want to stick to this regimen. You have an older learner, high school learner, whatever, and they should be able to tackle it for little pieces a day. Then this is the schedule you will follow. So it will tell you exactly, watch video 1. While watching each weekly video, use your corresponding pages to complete the lesson. Place your pages in your binder behind the appropriate tab, and it will tell you how to like move things around and stuff like that. We already have everything where it belongs, because again, that's how our brain works. And then you say read and discuss public speaking, then write your first keyword outline for public speaking. Test your keyword outline by retelling it to a partner. So my kiddos practice by telling it to each other first, and then they come and tell it to me. So it's read, think, look up, speak. Read, think, look up, speak. And this is something that they're taught over and over and over again. And then it tells them to what to read with the memorization and to choose one of the poems, right? And then day 2, write a keyword outline for Socrates' story of the and the gift of writing. Test your keyword outline. Follow this pattern. Read, think, look up. Begin memorization of the select poem. Then day 3. So yes, day 1 is the hefty one, right? So if you feel like you need to break that up, my kiddos can do day 1 in one sitting, right? But they're also very used to IEW. So this is not a lot for them, and it's engaging, and they're, working with multi-sensory, essentially, because they're getting their bodies moving, and, they're standing up, they're, practicing, they're doing all these different things. Right? So you can see that you're basically doing a lot of practice and reiterating certain parts and, helping memorize and working on it. So it's kind of like practicing the piano every day. So you're retelling and redoing the same component, just like you may be redoing drafts and stuff like that in writing. All right, and then day 4, the way you finalize this is using your keyword outline, practice delivering Socrates' story, finish the memorization of your selected poem, practice voice, posture, eye contact, and hand gesture in preparation for the next class. Record yourself reciting the poem. So they're encouraged to record themselves. They're encouraged, practice in front of the mirror. They're encouraged to practice also on their own. And then there's these tips here. Memory technique. Memorize one small section at a time. As you memorize, assign specific gestures to words in the passage. So these are also different memory techniques, right? So there's so many of them, but things that I didn't even remember. So we already have all the 12 weeks up front. This is not suggested how you set this up, but you guys know we do us. All right, so here's some speech templates of what they would include, and this is to help them. So for example, this is the impromptu, given without any advanced planning because it's prompted by the occasion. Graph thesis from the prompt, divide thesis into topic, definition, images, viewpoints, divide. That's what it stands for. Viewpoints, implication, decision, emphasis, determine the purpose, organize your speech. And then it gives them like the step by step, introduction, the body, the conclusion, and then the map of what they're doing, attention getters, background thesis, and how they're looping around to do that. So here's like a template for persuasive speech, a template for expository, narrative, introductory. And then here is some of the memorization, right? And you will have that there. So here is the critique. So some people, okay, how do I grade this? Especially for a high school student that you are most likely keeping track of their grades. So here, for example, is the poem memorization. So this is by the weeks on here. So the second week is what, they're actually delivering. And then it will have a timestamp too that you can refer back to, right? If you need to. You can dissect each part. So poise, not just like give it a number and that's it. So your child gets used to getting feedback and what exactly they can work on and what exactly they did really, really well. And then go from there. Not just constructive criticism, but also positive feedback about what they're doing well, right? Here's the class notes. So here you will have your source text, anything that would indicate that you went over in class. For example, the 5 canons of rhetoric. So invention is the process of deciding what to say, ask questions to generate context. Content. Arrangement is the process of organizing content, follow the structure. Elocution is the process of determining how to give content, determining the purpose. Memory is the process of internalizing the content. Practice is imperative. Memorize not only your speeches, anyways, it goes into details of the vocabulary, the grammatical patterns, the schemes, the tropes, the ideas, and the images. This is so in depth that it really reminds me not of my middle school course, not of my high school course, but of my college speech, right? A public speaking in college that I took, which was actually called like speech or something like that. I can't remember the exact title, but this is essentially what it was. But the way that each part is dissected, again, like we're talking about grammatical patterns, the schemes, the tropes, the images, everything, and how they're taught to look at all these individual components within their speech to not only, okay, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to try my best to look at the audience and memorize what I'm saying and try not to like faint because I'm so nervous. They go way beyond that into dissecting each component and being very comfortable in their own skin in what they're saying and internalizing that speech. It becomes them, right? Because they are taking their time with each component, right? And I'm here knocking stuff out. Delivery is the process of presenting the content to, in addition to the words that you say, content, consider the posture and gestures. So, kids start slumping down and things like that. So we're talking about poise. We're talking about the voice, we're talking about, verses where they start getting quieter and quieter, or they're not pronouncing their words, or, things like that. Or maybe they're being too loud, or whatever it may be. Or maybe they're talking really rapidly like I do. Eye contact. Keyword, and that may be a struggle, especially we all know that is a struggle for many kiddos. But one way that I modify it for my kiddos that are also autistic is that instead of like focusing on looking at my face or my eyes, is to look at something that's dissimilar or adjacent to me and look through that. So they're not feeling like that anxiety of having to like be forced to stare at me or whatever. So I'm just going to modify that, right? And if that is not something that is achievable, for them, or brings them great discomfort, then I'm going to modify that again, right? But for my kiddos particularly, if they're focusing on a point or an object and stuff like that, they feel confident, they feel fine, as long as they're not like, having to stare at me. And if they stare at me or their father or whatever, they can stare through us. That's another thing. And that's some techniques that, even if your kiddos are not neurodiverse. All right. So keyword outline, how to write a keyword outline, how to speak from a keyword outline. Now, this is something that is practiced a lot in their writing program, how to speak, because before they even write, after they write that keyword outline, they don't go straight into writing their summary. Seldomly so. They go from keyword outline to retelling to speaking from their keyword outline. So now they're going to explore from that and go steps and steps and steps further from speaking with a keyword outline. So read, think, look up, speak. Read, think, look up, speak, and also practicing so their pauses are not so long too. So rhetoric is the art of discovering the truth by Andrew Pudua. I love that. So delivery techniques: do not talk while looking at your paper. Focus on voice, posture, eye contact, and hand gesture. Purposely speak slowly if you are nervous. So I love the individual techniques and the individual tools that they're given. I just feel like this, I'm not saying that it's too hard for middle school, because it's not. I'm just saying that it's at a level that is comparable to courses that I took at higher education. The things that they go into depth. You may have seen this in high school, which I did too, but I don't remember my high school teachers actually diving that much into these individual components that are so helpful. So for that aspect, I feel like, yes, possibly a lot of this was taught to me in high school, but it wasn't really expressed in the same way until I took the college course. And I was a journalism major, right? I went to communication and broadcasting arts magnet schools for gifted kiddos that I went from all the way from junior high through high school. So my major was initially in communication. So to me, this is, I'm nerding out, right? So, and I will be perfectly honest, this introduction to public speaking, this was given us, we had an email sent out to us letting us know that this was going to be coming out, and if we were interested in reviewing it, to let them know. And I was like, normally in this stage of the game for me, like I just, you know, people reach out and I consider on individual basis. But this one, I was like, listen, hello, you remember me? Yes, yes, yes. I want to review that. And thankfully so, they were more than happy to collaborate with me again and to send this out to me to review, because I really wanted to review this. And I came in fully expecting this to be the basics of basics. I don't know why, because IEW is just not basic. IEW is an advance in a lot of areas, even though they digest each component to make it bite-sized and to make it attainable even for your struggling learners, even for your kiddos that have learning disabilities. I found that to be true for us. Obviously, that can't be true for everyone. That's not how the world works. But for us, it has been. And the way that they digest very high-level concepts with grammar, with writing, with everything else, I'm not really sure why I expected this to be basic, because it's nothing. It's just not really basic. Brings it to the next level. And I feel to do this course justice, am I complete, have my children finished this? Absolutely not. Will they finish it by the end of the summer? Probably not. I don't know, maybe. But I'm in no rush to finish it. I want to grasp the full entire entity of this course, and I want them to really feel successful in every step and every element they achieve, and to watch them be able to express themselves, to talk about things that interest them, to be able to put something in writing that was obviously so hard for them at first. Like my son thinks faster than he can write things down. He writes it down, but then he will make tons of grammatical errors because his mind is going a mile a minute, like mama, and he's just like rushing through it. So I have to a lot of times slow him down and get him to think about the main idea and the concept, and to proofread his work. That has been an amazing challenge to get him to proofread his work. Like, please just check your work before like coming to submit it. But it's okay, it's stepping stone. So to see him being more successful with his first draft, second draft, and to be able to express himself and feel so proud that he was able to remember what he was writing, to look up, to, and to teach me something, because then they pick topics that I have no idea what about. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's interesting to me. And it is also like, they feel pride, because they're like, we taught mommy something and we did this, like, we're getting better. Like, look, I hardly looked at my paper, or this, and they are so proud of that. So my daughter, you guys know, you've seen me cry on camera. So when you have someone that was a struggling learner with dyslexia and things like that, and seeing the magic that she went with when she did structure and style, and to being able to do things in pieces. Now to do something like public speaking, I can tell you, okay, on a personal note, without going into too much details, my daughter's anxiety was so great. And obviously there's a lot of cross relationship with everything else going on. That when she was younger, we had very long periods of selective mutism. So selective mutism, anxiety, autistic, ADHD, all that stuff. So there was a lot of bricks standing in her way that she had to knock down. And it was one step after the other. One step, one very, very small step, with gradual progress. And slow progress is progress, friends. And I know that's hard to hear when you're in the thick of it, but slow progress is progress. But when I see how much her writing has developed, and then to look at something like this public speaking course, and I had very low expectations. I'll be perfectly honest. I was like, she's gonna be a ball of nerves and turn into a mush and go silent. See her being able to articulate herself and to express herself, to getting also ready to do a speech in front for Hebrew school for her upcoming bat mitzvah. I'm like, I was expecting that the child's gonna run off the stage, but things like this that she's honing in on is also going to be helping her for her upcoming bat mitzvah, and that she's actually going to read. But anyways, to seeing her growth in a short period of time with this course, to do things I did not expect her to be able to comfortably do, that to me is worth gold. Right? So that's my take on this course. I'm not here to tell you that this is going to work for every single child or anything like that, but definitely consider it. Look at it. And if it's something that you have not considered doing, maybe your child struggles with presentations, maybe your child struggles, with articulating what they're trying to say. This spills over into many different facets of our lives, and it continues to grow with you. So even if you don't do it over 12 weeks, that's my recommendation. This is my take on my little review here, is that honestly, for my kiddos' ages, my kiddos' unique needs, I could not see doing this in 12 weeks. I need more time. I need more like 24, but that's okay, because you also can do that with structure and style. If you need more time, you take more time. Giving you permission is not from anything else to reframe it however you need to, but if definitely you have a high school kiddo that's neurotypical or anything like that, and they could definitely tackle this on in a semester or shorter. All right, so if you have any specific questions, let me know in the description box below. Thank you so much to IEW again for sending this my way for our review. We will keep talking about that when we do end of year evals. We'll do also our quarterly. I am excited to see how this spills over into other areas of their lives. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time and your presence, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Bye-bye.